South Africa loses billions of rand each year to power cuts, water leaks, and climate-driven disasters. Three crises quietly draining the economy at once. Now pressure is mounting for President Ramaphosa to frame water, energy, and climate not as side issues, but as core economic priorities in the State of the Nation address. In the next few minutes, you'll see why this shift could redefine jobs, investment, and growth, and why the biggest risk may not be scarcity, but hesitation. Stay with this to the very end, because the final insight changes how you'll see the entire national debate. If you care about South Africa's future, subscribe now and don't miss what comes next. What if the real economic emergency isn't unemployment alone, but the systems that make employment possible? Factories cannot run without reliable electricity. Farms cannot produce without water security. Cities cannot expand without climate-resilient infrastructure. The call being made to Ramaphosa is simple but profound. Elevate these crises to the center of economic strategy. Not environmental add-ons, not technical footnotes, national priorities. Picture a small manufacturing business in Gauteng forced to halt production during rolling blackouts. Each hour of darkness means missed orders, strained contracts, and anxious workers. Load shedding has already shaved significant growth from the economy, discouraging investors who crave stability. Energy insecurity is not just inconvenient, it is expensive. And the ripple effects travel far beyond power stations. Now consider water. Aging pipes leak millions of liters daily while communities face shortages and farmers brace for unpredictable rainfall. Climate variability intensifies droughts in one province and floods in another. Two extremes. One vulnerability. The economic cost of rebuilding after storms or trucking emergency water supplies is staggering. Water security is no longer a municipal issue. It is a national growth constraint. Climate change adds a third layer. Heat waves reduce worker productivity. Floods damage transport routes. Insurance premiums climb. Some still argue climate policy is a luxury for wealthier nations, but that assumption is fading fast. Transition risks and physical risks now sit side by side. Investors increasingly evaluate both. Ignore either, and capital flows elsewhere. Business leaders and economists are urging a reframing. Treat infrastructure resilience as an engine of growth rather than a burden on the budget. Renewable energy projects are attracting billions in private capital. Green hydrogen ambitions are drawing global attention, and modern water management technologies promise efficiency gains. Crisis can become catalyst. There's also a political dimension. A State of the Nation address sets tone and direction. When priorities are clearly articulated, policy alignment follows. Budgets adjust, departments coordinate, markets respond. Silence, on the other hand, breeds uncertainty, and uncertainty is costly. If you're finding this perspective valuable, subscribe and stay with this analysis to the end, because what happens next depends on how clearly this message is delivered from the podium. Another overlooked factor is job creation. The renewable energy sector has already generated employment in construction, maintenance, and technical services. Water infrastructure upgrades require engineers, plumbers, technicians. Climate adaptation projects create opportunities in research and urban planning. Economic reform and environmental reform are converging. That convergence is powerful, yet skeptics warn of fiscal strain. South Africa's public finances are already under pressure. How can government expand investment without widening deficits? The answer many experts propose lies in blended finance, leveraging public funds to unlock larger pools of private capital. 2 Rand mobilize 10. That multiplier effect changes the equation. There is also the matter of governance. Corruption and mismanagement have plagued some infrastructure projects in the past. Transparency and accountability must accompany any large-scale push. Without trust, funding dries up. With trust, momentum builds. Institutional reform becomes as critical as technological innovation. Regional dynamics add urgency. Neighboring countries are competing for renewable investment and trade partnerships. South Africa's industrial base gives it an advantage, but advantages erode if reforms stall. Global supply chains are reshaping around sustainability standards. Adapt or fall behind. The window is narrowing. At the household level, citizens feel these crises daily: rising electricity tariffs, water restrictions, higher food prices after extreme weather events. Economic policy can seem abstract until it hits the grocery bill. Then it becomes personal. Framing these challenges as economic priorities acknowledges that lived reality. Internationally, climate finance opportunities are expanding. Development banks and global funds are prepared to support credible transition plans, but credibility depends on coherent strategy. A strong, integrated message in the State of the Nation address could unlock partnerships and reassure global stakeholders that South Africa is serious about reform. Technology is advancing rapidly. Battery storage costs are falling, smart grids are improving efficiency, water recycling systems are becoming more affordable. Innovation is not standing still. The question is whether policy will keep pace. Momentum favors the bold. Critically, reframing these crises does not mean abandoning traditional economic goals. It means redefining the pathway to achieve them. Growth built on fragile infrastructure is unsustainable. Growth anchored in resilience is durable. That distinction matters. Leadership tone will be decisive. Words can mobilize markets or mute expectations. A clear commitment to prioritize water, energy, and climate could signal stability and forward thinking. Ambiguity could reinforce doubts. Investors listen carefully. Ultimately, the debate is not about whether these crises exist. They do. The debate is about hierarchy, what comes first in national planning. If water security, energy reliability, and climate resilience sit at the top, policy coherence follows. If they remain scattered across departments, fragmentation persists. As the State of the Nation address approaches, anticipation builds. Will the speech reflect incremental adjustments or a structural shift in framing? Will it treat infrastructure as maintenance or as transformation? The stakes extend beyond headlines. They shape the next decade. South Africa stands at a crossroads where necessity and opportunity intersect. 3 crises, 1 economy, a single moment to redefine priorities. Watch closely, stay informed, and subscribe so you don't miss the deeper analysis ahead, because the direction chosen now will echo long after the speech ends. Not professional advice, consult a qualified expert as needed.